Well, good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you all. My name's Susie Morley, and I'm the Director of the British Council in Hong Kong. It's such a pleasure to be here today at the Eaton Hotel and face to face after so many months of online activity, and to be celebrating the culmination of Restart, a British Council programme that has been designed to give young people the opportunity to engage with and make art through filmmaking. And this group of people that we've engaged with don't ordinarily get the opportunity to engage with or make art. We developed Restart because we believe that art has the power to be life-changing. Most immediately when we engage with or make art, we enjoy the experience, perhaps of being with other people and of expressing ourselves. Then there are the longer term impacts, like creating shared memories, developing empathy, and a deeper understanding about the world and our place in it. The arts are also our way of telling our stories, how we talk about what is important to us, and how we make sense of complicated issues and emotions. And through making art, many important life skills can be developed along the way. Making and engaging with art is part of what it is to be human, but access with and engagement with the arts are not always enjoyed equally. And this brings me to the heart of why we developed Restart. We wanted to provide access to and engagement with an art form for groups of young people aged between 16 and 24, for whom this can be difficult. And we chose film for Restart because it is so accessible and is the art form that the vast majority of people are familiar with, regardless of our background. In a minute, we'll be screening excerpts of 5 short films which were made by the young people participating on this programme. The process of filmmaking has not only helped develop their creative potential, but importantly, it has helped develop their problem-solving skills, their ability to work as part of a team, their ability to create a narrative, and they have also acquired some really useful technical skills too. Now, the British Council always works with partners to develop and deliver its programmes, and Restart is no exception. Therefore, and I'm afraid I have a long list of thank yous here, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our Hong Kong trainers, Amos Wong and Jessie Tsang, and to our UK trainers, Alexia Dixon and Steve Gear, and Hassaf Nayab, and to everyone at Interfilm, our UK partner, who share our belief in the transformative power of the arts and work together to create an amazing curriculum which provided young people with the combination of technical skills and life skills that they needed to produce their own piece of original art. I'd also like to thank Jasmina Kula, our evaluation partner, whose work will help us appraise the programme and learn important lessons for our future work. Thank you also to the Eaton Hotel for your support as venue partner for today's event. I would also like to thank our amazing delivery partners. That's HKCYS, Lady Macclehose Centre, Branches of Hope, Fee Asia, and social worker Violet Lau, who provided the community trainers who delivered the programme in the most difficult of circumstances, entirely online at the height of the pandemic. They defied the odds and proved that it is possible to successfully deliver a creative programme almost entirely online. I would also like to thank, and perhaps this is the most important thank you of all, the amazing young people who joined Restart and stuck with the programme. It is your achievements that we are here today to celebrate. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank our funder, Porticus, without whose support Restart would not have been possible. So thank you, Sukhmani, Joanne, Wilton, Ina and Vanya. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with you. I'd also like to thank my British Council colleagues who provided expertise and input during the project development phase, particularly to Gary Thomas and Jay Arnold and Rosanna Lewis. And last, but by no means least, I'd like to thank the British Council project team, our amazing project managers, past and present, Kitty Chan and Ali Jung, and Tim Wong, Head of Arts at the British Council in Hong Kong, who has so ably kept the programme on track. I believe that it is essential for all young people to have the opportunity to make art. After all, they will be our future poets, playwrights, sculptors, musicians, and filmmakers. Yet despite the great efforts of many arts organisations and their funders, young people's participation in arts and culture is persistently flat. I hope that this project has gone some way to address this issue and to have opened a door on a world of technicolor possibilities for our young filmmakers. And now, without any further ado, I'd like you to watch the products of Restart. Thank you.
喂，你日日都咁夜返嚇，有本事你又冇返嚟。人哋隔離屋阿俊仔好乖好黐家嘅，日日喺屋企温書嘅。你咧？你睇你似乜嘢樣？都唔知出面有乜嘢好玩啊？係咪玩到忙晒人啊你？喂，應兩句啦，同你講嘢啊！你又黑埋塊面做乜嘢啫？為鬼時睬你，十唔九唔應。女仔，喺邊啊而家？今晚返唔返嚟食飯啊？
你話唔管我唔返啊，係咁。
只係想引導你去一個更好嘅將來，但係佢係用一個病嘅方式。咁呢句説話都令到我好印象深刻啦。好多人都話呢個症其實係冇得康復嘅，我覺得唔認同呢樣嘢，因為我覺得其實康復係乜嘢定義呢？其實康復只係一種好虛無縹緲嘅一種。好似話你變得快樂，其實我覺得當我好似接觸大自然啊、接觸音樂嗰陣時，我就會有一種好舒服嘅感覺。咁我已經覺得呢一種舒服嘅感覺其實係康復嘅一種啦。所以我覺得已經唔需要完全康復，我可以同抑鬱症和諧咁樣相處就夠啦。
希望我自己能夠繼續喺患病嘅當中，我仍然可以管理好我自己嘅生活啦。我希望我自己能夠維持一個好啲嘅工作能力同埋水平啦。 我會定期都係翻去覆診啦咁樣，咁我亦都唔會唔食藥啦咁樣，咁我希望我人生裡面我雖然我都知道其實就算食咗藥咧都會有高低起跌嘅，但係我自己希望就係高低起跌嘅幅度咧係冇咁大。我希望能夠個社會能夠再多啲空間啦，或者嗰啲工作環境多啲體諒啦，俾多啲機會我哋啲情緒病患者佢哋去投入翻去社會工作啦咁樣。
你估 Matthew 佢記唔記得今晚食飯啊？
佢喎，信佢啦。
唔係啦，我都係打去提下佢啦。
哦，你中意啦。
喂，
你好，呢度係順豐快遞，你有一件郵件尚未領取。
喂 Chris 哥，10幾年啦，識咗，把聲我點會認唔出啊？搞咩啊？
都唔好玩嘅，唉唔講衰嘢啦。喂，你記得可？今晚7點鐘啊，約咗大家出嚟聚下舊咧。
梗係記得啦，我今晚專登同老婆大人申請咗，懶得晚市堂食放工班，仲唔同你傾翻舊本啊？
Let's start the day with a smile. Hi, Miss Ellie. Good morning. How are you? Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
Country with special culture, traditions, and ancient civilization. So, Sarah, would you like to answer me? How long is the Chinese civilization now? Hello, Sarah? Are you there? Hello? Sarah?
Hello? Oh, hi, Miss. How are you? Yes, I'm fine. Oh, we're under the lockdown again? Okay, no worries. From now on, I'll enjoy and stay positive. Yes, Miss. Okay, no problem. Miss, one more thing I would like to ask about tomorrow's assignment. Should I present my presentation? Okay, okay, great. Yes, thank you, Miss. Have a nice day, bye-bye.
It's tough to see the light in times of dark moments. I would like to advise all students to continue to be positive and never give up hopes.
group. The theme they have produced is called Light After the Dark. May I first invite them to come over to the stage first. So allow me to do a short introduction. Welcome and thanks joining us to share a bit your experience in Restart program. So before we kick off the session, I would like to introduce the names and participations. So sitting next to me is our community trainer, Taqwa Ahmed. He's a registered social worker in Hong Kong, also a project officer for the Service for Ethnic Minority Units at Hong Kong SKH Lady Macleay Host Center in Kwai Chung. So next to him is our two community view members, Manisa Afan and CJ. Thank you once again for joining and be with us today to share your creative journey. So the group has taken part into Restart program since 2021 by attending a series of train the trainer sessions. Then Ahmed together with Sania, the assistant community trainer, had delivered 12 theme making workshops to the youth group. From my understanding, since the impact from the COVID-19, most sessions were actually delivered through online classes. They will share later the difficulties and challenges that they faced and overcame throughout the course. After finishing the learning part, the group had come up with an idea to create a storyboard on their theme making project. They went through a lot of learning in the communication process, how to work as a team, and being innovative and creative. So may I first invite Ahmed to share about his work at the center and for the ethnic minority units and his interest in joining the Restart program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali, and everyone. So firstly, let me introduce myself. I am Amit. So I'm one of the social worker working for non-Chinese communities living in Hong Kong, especially in the Kwai Ching district. So I've been working almost for 10 years and find out that, of course, this is the unique needs. Even though every people, especially the youth, got the devices, but the main purpose that how to use them more better in a more useful way, so where they can learn and enhance their skills. So that is the reason that once one of the representative from the British consulate, they introduced us to this project. So actually I found that it's very meaningful and very useful because somehow the minorities people living in Hong Kong, they face many challenges, probably different kind of the segregations, but it doesn't mean that they give up their hopes. And this project can also be beneficiary to learn and to enhance. And the main purpose is to send and convey the message which they really want it to be. So this is the one of the main tool. We use it and recruit our member from the minorities group. So we learn together and we come across with different challenges. But obviously my two representative here, they will be discussing more. But I found that during the restart project, because due to the pandemic, we got some difficulties, especially have not done the classes face to face. But somehow we have used each skills which was represented to us through the main coordinators, like especially from the British consulate, from the British, the main directors, even though they have organized the individual classes for us once we need it for the further help, like the video editing, Foley sounds, or how to make a shooting due to the lighting and the etc. stuff. But the another issue is that one of our participants, she moved to India, but it doesn't mean that we give apart from her from our project. So she also contributed her own skills, her own involvement to the communication with us through team meetings. So now I will be representing one of our main community trainer as well to talk more about it.
Hi, I'm Pratiksha, but today I'll be in the shoes of Sanya, sir's assistant, and talking her point of view. So Sanya is the assistant community trainer of SIR, and her role in the process of movie making was tracking daily progress in the filming part and preparing daily call sheets and checking cast and crew. She also helped to maintain the order on the set. Not only was she also the assistant, but she was also one of the students learning all of the movie making concepts. And she said that this filmmaking workshop was a great experience because all of our ideas can come to life. And she also mentioned she gained practical experiences, which she wants to pursue, which makes her want to pursue other dreams in the filming career, filming field, I mean. And she said the course allows her to work in various areas and learn how to use different equipments and was a great experience overall.
Hi, my name is Maniza, and so I will talk about how all of this experience went so far. It was actually we shoot this during Corona, and it was really hard for us to keep up since we many sessions we had like by like Zoom, like online. We didn't really meet each other, and it was really hard for us to keep up with everything, and but we all put effort in this, and I know it's not really professional or have that kind of word, but like we really worked hard for this, and obviously we all worked together, and yes, and I've also gained experience from this, um like gained some editing skills and how to really shoot a movie and what's really behind like how to shoot a movie. We always see like movies in theaters, but we don't know like how they shot this and all, and it was really tough experience, and it was really fun since I got chance to shoot this video with my friends, with my best friends. It was really hard to control our laughs, but we did. And yeah, we basically laughed. We took more than like many shots, like not like just we took many takes because they kept laughing and also me. And but this experience was really useful. I feel like this is like very like this is a very special experience. Like maybe I can never experience. Uh this was really unique, and yeah, and we probably I've learned many skills like editing skills, movie making skills, and so much. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, finally, because it can, because the due to the minorities issues, some of the people stay with their own genders, like the male to male in a group or the female to female. But I think this is the unique experience that in this movie making, the most of the like from the female group and from male group, they both work together. I think this is the sign of the positiveness that how they contributed, they work together as a team and show the team spirit. So I think this is a great uniqueness that San Maniza has mentioned, and we are going to retain, like it's mentioned, restart. So we're not gonna finish this up to until the year, but we're gonna stick to it in the future as well. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Yeah, if you have any question, you can ask us.
Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, our youth member. So maybe we can just talking a little bit more about the theme making process. So is there any difficulties the group has to encounter when collaborating as a team, and how did the group come up a solution to resolve the issue?
Of course, in the early stage, it is very difficult because the bonding between the team members is very difficult for us because the boys stayed in their own comfort zone, and the same like the girls, because in the practically they doesn't have any experience how they can work together. Because if you look into the South Asian culture, mostly in like Pakistani culture, the females stay with their own comfort zone and the boys with their own. But I think due to this movie making skills, somehow like my like the team members they mentioned about, they have the lot of fun. So I think due to that kind of the things that they come up together and they consolidate more ideas, more sharing. Maybe they have different ideas. The boy can maybe put some more efforts, or maybe the girls put some more effort onto the boys. So somehow they come up together and make a good planning. And after once we, because mostly the actress in our movie was is a girls, and the I mean the movie shooters, the cameraman is a boy. So somehow they come across with the planning. If they thinks that the scene is not right, so they discuss with the girls together, and they come up with the conclusion, the solution, how to make it more better. So I think this is the best way that I really love it, because the difficulties always comes up, but there is always be a solution. And now the our member, whenever we have some kind of the finalization like the editing the video, or they always give us more ideas how to do it more better, even though they contributed much more than me, because they work together. So that's why we have successfully achieved our project. And obviously one of our members, she went to India, and we knew that we had a difficulties how she can contribute to our project, but we still keep in touch with her, and she gave us some ideas related to the script writing, that okay, this kind of the things is going to be changed, we need to put this kind of the stuff. So all of the ideas will be given to us through our members.
So may I have a question with Manisa? You are
Yes, sure.
the main character, but how do you feel, or how do you prepare to this filmmaking shooting process? And is there any impressive moment for you during the filmmaking?
Yes, it was a pleasure for this role. I've learned like in the story is about like a girl who suffers from lockdown, and that's actually somehow connected to most of us because we went through this during lockdown. We all were stuck at home and we got nothing to do, nothing productive to do. So by this movie making, I've learned that like no matter what, you should like try to enjoy the moment, like the moment you should enjoy. Yes, that's pretty much I've learned, and it was a great experience acting. It was fun. It was inspirational. It was like I learned a lot. So that's why. Thank you.
Thank you. So is it Pratikshya, so what was your role in the filmmaking process, and how do you feel about that while working in the team for the film production?
I was also a member of the filmmaking process, and I was a person stuck in India, sadly. And although I couldn't be here for much of the shooting and editing process, I was still there for the pre-production part and the planning part. I really missed a lot of fun, but um, the fact that I could still help, even though I'm quite far from everyone, made me feel useful in the whole filmmaking thing. Most the struggle I had to go through because I was stuck in India was mainly because of the internet connection, and also because I am usually a very independent worker, like more like a lone wolf, and I'm not used to working in groups as much. So this was the first time I was working with a group for like 12 whole sessions, which is a very long time, and I really learned to listen and communicate because there was a lot of great innovative ideas from different people in from different aspects and everything, and connecting them all together into creating one masterpiece was quite the task. And I think I learned how to be a good listener and a good communicator through this filmmaking thing.
Thank you so much. So overall for the group, what have you been benefited after joining Restart? Is there any new knowledge gained on personal development or filmmaking technique?
Personally, for me, like maybe it is a unique ideas to shoot videos or make photos from their phone. But I think in practically, if we really want into that field, they should know the main process like the planning, script writing, and how to execute the plan according to their script. So this is what is more important for us because as we all are the new beginners, and with the help of the Restart project members, we have learned a lot. And actually, for me, what I personally believe that giving the positive message or to do some kind of the advocacy work, we can use this platform to convey or to send the message out there to the audience. So this filmmaking technique is very useful for, and we are going to keep it up to do the advocacy work or maybe cultural sensitivity awareness or more, maybe some kind of the issue related to the students or the education perspective or the other etc things. Maybe they can share with their own.
Um, yes, actually, I've learned many like video making skills. Like usually we make videos from our phone, but this was the first time I've experienced making video from like camera and like those, I've learned like many angles, names, and all those, and like many editing skills also, and obviously because of Sir Ahmed, we're here. Like he really put a lot of effort in this, and he was, he was a director, and he was instructing us, and obviously it's hard for him to instruct us because, yeah, he was a bit naughty. That's why, and yes, that's it. I just want to say.
I remember taking notes for what to say for this part. Uh, I learned a lot about lighting from this filmmaking class because I remember when we were taking selfies with our friends, lighting used to be, we didn't know how to handle the lighting and all that stuff. And through this filmmaking thing, we actually knew which side of the light creates what impression on your faces and the emotions that you can portray. And we also learned certain composition techniques like the rule of thirds and etc. This has increased the interest for me to also think about some careers in the filmmaking industry. I'm leaning more towards the script writing part because it has brought out the creative side of me through this class.
Thank you so much for the sharing. So maybe let's see, is there any question or sharing feedback from the floor or from our online audience? Hello, there's a Michael break.
I'll try it again. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a filmmaker, or I was a filmmaker. I'm actually a film educator now. But I've been making films for 30 years. And I know that there are two really difficult bits in filmmaking. That is, how do you come up with the story? And how did you agree on what script you were going to go forward with? And what was your biggest surprise? Because whenever you're shooting, there's always something that happens where everything goes wrong, or you turn up at a location and you thought you would be able to shoot, or it's raining when it's meant to be sunny. So really two parts to that. Who put together the script and how did you agree on it? And then what was your biggest surprise when you made the film?
Yes, it was actually all of us who contributed making this script. Like actually many of us like came up with different ideas, not just like up on Corona on lockdown, but like many of them said like esports, many other things and all. So yes, they came up with many different ideas, but at the end of the like they all voted like kind of like that. We all were like, okay, what should we actually make? What should we make a video about? And then everybody go everybody said, let's, because since we were suffering from Corona and everybody suffered this, so they said, I think, they said making like top video on Corona lockdown, this would be great because all of them suffered and they can come, really communicate with this. They can, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, actually, I can also put something more like because we have done some research related to the students, and we found the same situation that some of the students which we know they has come across with this problem. So it's truly based on the true story. So we have conducted some more in-depth research. We ask us some question related to our lockdown experience and everything. Even though we have changed script for many times actually, this is the much of the problem we face. And the second problem we face is the venue. Because during the lockdown period, we cannot outreach because our organization policy is also very strict. So due to the measurement, we make the all of the things as a tailor-made and by ourselves. We just done all the shooting in a same room in the same venue, but we changed a lot. Like we make the bed sheet and everything. We set up the table and the students' library and everything. So it's gonna be a much more tough for us because if we are allowed to shoot outside, maybe we can use the different venue, maybe class or schools or libraries or different locations. But due to the limitation, our main objectives and the goal is to complete the task if we have the second option available, which is our own organization. So we use that venue.
Thank you. To add on Michael's, well done. Miranda Wong from the Hong Kong Federation of Youth Groups, and congratulations for the success. I am also interested in the stories, as I can see there's one story on living that it's like interviewing two persons, and which is very different from other four stories, which are plots. So are there any special reasons for that design? That's the first question. And secondly is for the program itself, as it shows, is like an 18-month program. It's not a short time. And from a youth organization, I can see the motivation of young people is actually hard to sustain. So what's your experience for, keep fueling their energy, staying in this program? Thank you.
Maybe I can help answer the first questions. There's another group staying in between the audience. So the Leaving, that film is made by another group, a local community arts group. So they reach out to the community to find a subject or find an interviewee to address the mental health issue that they care about. Because I think you will see that during the period of COVID-19, it's not only it's not only a issue that is a virus, or it's also about mental health awareness. So I think the group has decided this issue to address that we need to take care of ourselves, and is especially to the young people. Yeah, and I think that Susie has something to add as well.
Thank you very much for your question. But just to elaborate a little bit further, the filmmaking stage, which involved young people, was just one stage of the 18-month project. So you'll hear a little bit later on about how the project was developed from scratch. So we developed a curriculum, and then we refined the curriculum, and then we recruited community partners who helped us deliver it. We trained people to deliver the program, and we refined the curriculum based on their feedback before we actually got to the point of making the films. So actually, this group here is showing the kind of the end product, if you like, the sort of last 4 or 5 months, 6 months, I think it is, of an 18-month project. But you'll hear a bit more about all of that in a minute or two.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Miranda. Maybe the group can also add, Ahmed, how do you keep the group keep keeping the motivation moving forward till the end of filmmaking and showing this good film to us?
The main purpose is for us, like, we need to be more reluctant. For example, like, not too passive to the participant. Give them a chance to adopt first, to observe what they're doing. So this is the good thing, that we still have a much time. Okay. So even though the more the time, they're used with it. And same like our participant, as I mentioned before, there is a gender issue in the pre-hand, but later on they adopt into the culture and they work together. So same like us, give them some space, give them some time. They understand what is the really main purpose of doing that project. So once they adopt it, they observe it. So I think the time to time, they will be taking it very seriously. Obviously, the fun is the one of the main thing to give them a more chance to work together. So even though as some of our actors, we shot around maybe 6 to 10 times the main scene, the one, maybe some of the scenes we reshoot again and again because they're not very used to it. But this is not the way that they give up. They enjoy to do it. And this one, we play it later on once we finish all the things and we play our work. Okay, which scene is more better? So they watch, they laugh, they learn, they gain experience, and they try to think about the next step, what they can do more better. So I think the main thing is give them some time.
Thank you very much for that. I'd like to know how you went about selecting who was going to do what in the production team. You know, how did you choose who was going to be in front of the camera and who was going to be behind the camera?
Because at the beginning, during the 12th section of the class, so every coordinator from the British consulate, they appointed some of the main directors in different fields. So that is the reason that we grab all the ideas at the beginning during the 12th section. But of course, during the first 12 section, we also give our youth members some assignment to do. For example, we give them everyone the same things, but after that we see, oh, which one is more better. Then once the 12 sections are finished, we have all the work in our hand and we checked up, okay, they are good in this one. But of course, we also need to ask their consent and their willingness, whether they are willing to take these things or not. And obviously, most of the members, they knew their capabilities, what they are good at. So they take it and work it very professionally, even though we are beginning. But for me, I still give them appreciation because they put a lot of efforts. Yeah. So some people who are willing to take a cameraman, script writers, and the Foley sound, and different kind of like the drawings. Okay. So lighting, every people in a different position. But some of, due to the limitation of our members, some of they have maybe taken 2 or 3 different roles at the same time. Maybe they're also the actress, and after that they are also the editor, video editing.
Thank you so much. So maybe we can take one more questions or feedback. Thank you, Lisa.
Hi, thank you to the young filmmakers and to the facilitators. I have a question for the young ladies, filmmakers. Do you find I just want to know if have you found that since you've learned about framing and lighting and maybe the complicated nature of getting a project from idea to screening, now that you've done this process, do you see your social media differently, for example, or do you interact through media differently with other people your age now?
Oh yeah, definitely. Our perspective towards movies and photos have differed so much. Before, whenever I'm watching a movie, I just watch the movie and criticize it, and then I just move on. I'd be like, okay, I like these parts, I didn't like these parts. And then there was some times where me and my friends would really not like the movie and talk trash about it. But now I realize that it's not, I mean, how do I say it? no matter how good or bad it turns out, it's the effort that matters behind the whole process thing. I feel like the journey defines the whole thing other than the outer product. Like the end product is still important, but the journey is the most important because we learn a lot along the way. And no matter how good or okay the movie is nowadays that I watch, I still try to appreciate the parts that I can see that the filmmakers would have put effort in it. Now that I've stood in their shoes once, now I understand the difficulties they have gone through, and my perspective has changed a lot from after this class. Yeah. Yeah, I'm more confident than before in whatever um, picture I'm taking and focus on small details more than before. But not like in a complaining way, but more like in an appreciating way. I'll take a picture of myself and then realize, wow, the background, this nature, these tiny stuff are prettier. And it really taught me how to appreciate small details, most of all.
Uh, yeah, I also gained confidence. Actually, before doing this movie, the short film acting in this, I thought I was not camera shy person, not like I was really confident and all like I can do it and all. But when we were taking the first shot, I was so nervous. I was like shivering. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to react, and I don't know how to act. I was really confused. But after onwards, when like we start taking more shots and all this, I've gained pretty much confidence. And I'm like, okay, we have to, no matter what. Like, there's no point of being nervous or confused. I have to act, so I have to like. And then, yeah, this was I've gained confidence. And whenever we're taking pictures, we always say, this angle is not good. I don't look good in this. Now I don't really care. I'm like, anything is okay. Yeah, that's a different thing. My friends do really care about this, but I don't.
Their own personal image. But sometimes in the reality, you need to change the impression of the face. But if the face is dull, maybe she is upset. Okay, we need to show us this kind of the scenario. And some of the cases they don't really like it. But after telling them the main things that if we don't show them the impression, how can the people out there they understand more about it?
Thank you so much for the sharing. May I invite our guests from the floor to give a round of applause to them, and for our online audience, give a thumbs up to them. Yeah, thank you so much. So Restart stands for reconnecting and reskilling societies through the arts. We hope that by giving young people in Hong Kong equitable access and exposure to art form, they are able to create their own original piece of art and develop their potential in creativity and personal skills, making impact to the community that they love and care. Thank you so much again to the community arts group, to the community trainer Ahmad, and the two youth members. So their theme Light After the Dark will premiere on 1st of November, and I hope you will enjoy watching the full film. So coming up next, we will have a 10 minutes break. Thanks for our online audience. We will see you again after the break. After that, there will be a roundtable discussion. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We're going to start the next session. So if you could make your way back over to the seating area, thanks. Hello. I think we've got everyone back in the room. So welcome back. I hope you all had the opportunity to have some refreshments. And yeah, a big, big thank you to all of you for being here with us today. My name's Timothy Wong. I'm the head of Arts and Creative Industries here at British Council in Hong Kong. And yeah, it's just a real delight to be here with you all at the culmination of this program and to see real faces in the same room. I think if you told me a year ago that we would be doing something like this face to face, I'm not sure I would have believed you. So really grateful to have you all here with us. And thanks for coming back and joining this discussion. So what are we going to be talking about today? I mean, the idea of film and the idea that film itself and filmmaking, it's more than just entertainment. I think in the session that Ali led earlier, that idea that film isn't just a product, but the journey is important as well. So film and moving image, you know, they dominate popular culture and entertainment. I think almost all of us here today, we've all got a mobile device in our pockets, and it's possible for us to engage with some sort of film and at almost every hour of the day. But one of the core ideas that you've heard about already within Restart is that film and filmmaking is more than just popular culture. It's more than just entertainment, and it's a really great way to facilitate learning, skills building, and education as well. So the panel we have with us today, not just in the room, but also joining us online from the UK to discuss this idea, all have experience in the use of film for education and skills building, both here in Hong Kong and in the UK too. So I'll start off by doing a quick introduction. So on my far left is Teresa Kwong, who's Program Director at Hong Kong Arts Centre. And within Teresa's programs there, there's also IFVA, which is an incubator for film and visual media. And also Teresa will be able to tell us a bit about the All About Us program, which also works with young people from the ethnic minority community in Hong Kong. And next to Teresa, we've got Alyssa Rosati, who's head of screen production and research centre at the Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts, and has also previously run Focus on Film, a program which has also used film to work with young people and give them the tools to tell their stories and express themselves. And then on my direct left is Sukmani Sethi. Sukmani is Regional Director Asia at Portugus, who have generously funded this program, Restart. Portugus is a charitable organisation working in partnerships in education, society, faith, and climate. And joining us online as well, I think you can see we have, if you give you a wave, we have Tara Patel. Hi, Tara. So Tara is Senior Learning Coordinator at Interfilm. Interfilm is the UK's leading charity for film in education, and they've been a really crucial partner for us in Restart. And then last but not least, my colleague, Gary Thomas. And Gary Thomas is a film programme manager for us at the British Council in UK. And Gary was really important in the development of this programme and has run many film and education related programmes in the past as well. So you'll hear from him about that. To kick us off, I wanted to ask our panel to share an instance, a time, it might be an event, it might be a memory where you realised the power of film to really help develop people's skills and do more than just entertain. So, Tara, I'm going to start with you.
Hi
Can you
everyone,
hear
hope
us?
you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Well, I've been at Interfilm for almost 8 years. I used to be a teacher before that, but moved into working in film education through Interfilm. I mean, I know you asked him of a specific time that we can remember how film has been used to help develop people skills, but I think actually there's a number of examples I can think of. I mean, I've been involved with training teachers, hosting workshops for schools, hosting film screenings, and organising a number of filmmaking projects. And the feedback's always along the same lines, that teachers, educators can see the benefit of using film as a teaching tool, not only just to stimulate discussion, but also to teach a particular topic. It's really integral when you look at film a little bit more closely. And not only that, I think the way in which we've used film as well has helped support young people's development of their 21st century skills. So things like confidence, being part of a team, being organised, problem solving, etc. As I said, I'm not a filmmaker myself, so I can't give a specific time that I've gone out and been able to see that hands-on necessarily, but I've certainly worked behind the scenes where the feedback that we get from the young people and educators that we train and we work with is always along those lines, that it's really beneficial for developing young people's skills.
Thanks very much, Tara. So if I might extend the question, again, as Tara says, it doesn't have to be a specific time or instance, but perhaps Alyssa, you share with us?
Sure, thanks. Yeah, I can think of lots and lots and lots of examples. But let me share one anecdote. I always thought that putting cameras in children's hands would empower them. I always thought that. But it wasn't until we were designing a program and we had to rotate the program. So we only had 5 team members in each group, and everyone wanted to be the director, of course. Everyone wants to be the director. But I really wanted each kid to get a sense of what it was. So we decided to rotate every morning, afternoon, who would be the director. I don't think we continued to do that for very long because it is quite the challenge to get a cohesive film from that kind of a structure. But I think what happened there was in the morning, kid A was the director and B was the DP and C was a blah, blah. And kid 5 was, the jobs body doing whatever needed doing. And of course, that first rotation, the last kid was glum and, the director was ordering that kid around, like using him. But then the next swing around, all of a sudden, that last kid on the totem pole became the director. Whoop. Yeah. And in one rotation, suddenly there was a lot more understanding and empathy and cooperation. And we found that even in the most disparate groups, that the teams quickly understood that to get the best work, they had to play to everyone's strengths. But if you kept people in a hierarchical system, that broke down very quickly. People became very quickly abusive. Not Lord of the Flies abusive, but let me see what I can get out of it and be, number one top guy. So I think yes, these tools we need to teach them, and I think we can see from the sharing of the young team that sat with us and talked about their confidence, changing over the course of the whole experience. But yes, as a filmmaker and educator, I know that you have to make sure that when you're teaching these tools that you teach an empathetic filmmaking and an inclusive filmmaking, because it's not always the case. Yes.
Thanks, Elisa. So, Sugmani, if I might come to you next, I think what we've just heard about is really the importance of collaborative working. So this idea of filmmaking as something that can be done as a team. Obviously, it doesn't always have to be, but I'm curious to hear what experience you have to share from some of the programs your organization have been involved with before, where that element of team working and being in a group and maybe bumping off each other in different ways really helps to spark something in important for young people or whoever's participating. Could you talk a bit about that?
Sure, thanks. I think it's at Portuguese, I'll talk about it in two perspectives. One is the work that Portuguese is funding through a special entity called the Community Arts Lab at Portuguese. And there the focus very much is to use performing arts as a pathway for, self-actualization, or like these 21st century skills, resilience building, but more importantly around finding a common purpose and a new identity through this process. And there have been like lots of fascinating projects that are either underway or have happened in the past. So there's been work with not specifically film, but this idea of collaborative working through, the Vienna Boys Choir, which was in Jordan, basically focusing on refugee kids in Jordan and using choir as a form of not only arts for the art's sake, but then excellence. And in that process, having people express themselves, find solidarity, find a common identity. And that, became a very, very, I think, turning point for the kids who had faced so much. And then, very recently, a project that excites us a lot, and we don't know where it'll go, but it's, this all-pervasive topic around climate action. It seems so out of reach. It seems so despondent as a topic. And, that's where we're seeing community arts come in as a very, and especially filmmaking, the advantage of filmmaking is storytelling, narrative building, taking you alongside. And there we're seeing lots of different collaborators come in, from UN Live, which you think of as an organization that would, work at a certain level, to Bollywood in India that is coming in to say, listen, we're pop culture, we get attention of a certain group of people, to, story writers. And then eventually the idea is to get participant engagement through, and the format is going to be around a gamified version of having, question answers, having people interact, and technology helps in a big way. So it is a looser version of filmmaking, definitely not in its pure form as we're discussing here, but we've kind of seen performing arts come together in a very important way for some of the big social challenges that Portuguese has been working on.
Brilliant, thank you. I think the thing that I was picking up there from what you were saying is that idea of story building or storytelling, and that, as you said, is something that carries across different art forms, not just film. But obviously for film, it's hugely important. And we've just seen with the showcase of some of these films, we've had lots of quite personal stories, but very different types of stories being told. So Teresa, if I could bring you in here a bit, because I know you've worked with communities in Hong Kong as well, on a filmmaking program at the Arts Centre as well. So maybe you could share with us a bit of the kind of different types of stories and storytelling that your young participants have been building through your programs as well.
Sure, yeah. I would say that's a project that we, under the context of, basically IFEA, it's a regional platform for short film, animation, and media art for Asian creative talent. We found in 1995. And then 30 years ago, so art education, especially for young people, it's one of the key areas that we would like to focus. And I mean, the DNA for IFEA, it's we believe everyone has a voice, and we just make use of filmmaking or video making or whatever medium making as a medium for them to express themselves. I think that is our DNA. By coincidence, 13 years ago, we got an idea to launch a video making art education project for the ethnic minority teenagers in Hong Kong. Because back then, it seems that, that ethnic minority teenagers, they don't have much chance to access to film and video making. So we kind of thought, okay, maybe that's a good idea. So very luckily, we got funding. So we start the first, that's a project called All About Us. So it's a journey now, up to now is 13 years. Yeah, we could not imagine when we start this project. The reason why it's called, it's titled It's All About Us, because the project basically it's targeted for the ethnic minority teenagers here in Hong Kong, starting from 12 years old to 20 years old. Yeah, and some of them they born in Hong Kong, but some of them they are immigrant to Hong Kong when they are a child. Even though maybe they are from the different ethnic orientation, they have different religion, maybe they speak different language, but for us, they are part of Hong Kong. So back to your question is about storytelling. Even though they have different background, in some way, all of them being get together, become Hong Kong as a city. We're talking about diversity. We're talking about differences. So that's why that's the core value of All About Us. So it's a yearly round program starting from training. We have camp. I really agree with what you just said. Fun is very important. So that's why we will engage them through different activity, including camp. Yeah. Before COVID time, we will organize two training camp, in November and December. So just to engage them with different activity. Later on, they make short film, and then we will also encourage them to speak for themselves. So we will invite them to to have a different school, to different community to introduce about themselves and through the video they are making. And also before COVID time, they will also have a chance to travel as well. We have we have formed alliance with other NGO share the same spirit in Japan, Malaysia. So we kind of form an alliance, where the young people they are in a similar background across Asia. They could support each other. So back to your question. Is if I have to choose a moment where a memorable moment from running this program, I always remember that a story from a young Pakistan gentleman. He first joined our first edition. Yeah, when he's just 12 years old. His name is Hamster. Yeah. He is very responsible, very dedicated to all our program. So the second year, we invite him to be train the trainer. So he is one of our assistant or a teaching assistant as to support as a so basically he got not only a student making own video, but he could also learn more skill on through this program. Yeah. So back to the topic of this forum, film is not just entertainment. But talking about journey of Hamster, later on he told us after joining this program, he find his dream in life. He said because when we know him, he's only a high school student. He said he would like to major in filmmaking or media studies if he got a chance to get into the university. And he said when he reached the age of 25, he would like to start the first production house in Hong Kong, which is formed by Pakistan people. Yeah, because they said, as you all know, maybe they have limited career choice in Hong Kong. Yeah, they hope to break the cycle where they could support each other, and I think what the story from Hamster is, he find his dream, personal dream, through joining this program, and hopefully at the end that he wants to, together with other Pakistan young people, he hope they hope that they could get together to tell their own story, yeah, and let other people know their struggle. And basically, they are all normal people. They're not just they also have emotion as well. So
Yeah.
that's the story that I would like to share.
Thank you, Therese. Yeah, I think that idea that programs like Restart, we very much hope will equip some of our young participants with skills and opportunities for the future. It might be in the film industry, it might be in other walks of life as well. So we hope that the skills that they've picked up through the program are universally useful as well. I think the other thing that I picked up on what you were saying about the All About Us program is that 13 years ago is quite a long time, and it's quite a long time also in terms of development of technology. And when we're talking about film and filmmaking, the means that we now have to create film. I think we were talking about social media earlier, as a really accessible way that people create films themselves. That has developed a lot in the past decade, the last 10, 15 years. So Gary, I wanted to bring you in here and talk a bit about, in your experience, in your long experience with the British Council, perhaps you could share with us a bit how people have, whether there's a continued thread in the way that people have told those stories through film as technology has changed, or whether you see that having changed because of the ways that we all now have access to a camera.
Thanks, Tim. I mean, I don't think I have any special insight on that, because we can all access social platforms, and if we're not making content ourselves, we're seeing content that hasn't been gatekeeped, if that's a word. I mean, on projects, on this kind of project, I'm there sort of before the project starts, and then I come in like today, right at the end. So I'm not someone who gets their hands dirty, and it's exciting to see the results. I mean, I think sort of we've worked with Interfilm. There's the Restart project, and then there's another big project we have with the Scottish Documentary Institute, which is for sort of emerging professional filmmakers to make documentaries. And I think the main, just to go back to the kind of skills question and the idea of the power of film, when you mentioned that, Tim, all I could think of was Pinocchio. Which is Walt Disney's Pinocchio, and which was made in 1940. So I should say I didn't see it on its first release, but it's the story of a puppet. He's he's very naughty. Terrible things happen to him, and he learns and becomes a small boy. And it may be my adult memory, but I recall that sense of recognition of being a small boy and seeing a small boy on screen being naughty. And it's transformative to see people like yourself on screen and to hear stories. But it's important through projects like Restart and the other things we do, that they're authentic stories, and that different voices have the opportunity to tell their stories. So back to skills, there's all the practical stuff that we've heard of, and even the clips we've seen have an emotional impact and look great. But when you set out to make a film, you have to develop kind of thinking skills. You have to think about the practical and creative skills, but you also have to think about what it is you want to say, what it is you have to say, why it matters, why it's relevant to other people like you, why it's interesting and going to be, and making it relevant and interesting to people who aren't like you, which goes back to empathy and inclusion, and and all that stuff.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point. And you talked a bit about representation here. I think that's really crucial. The opportunity to see someone who looks like yourself represented on the screen. And obviously, when we've given the opportunity for young people here to express their own stories here. So I think that's been really, really core, a really important part of the Restart program. So I think we're starting to come on for time, and I was just wondering whether anyone in the audience, either online or here in person in the room in Hong Kong, has any questions or thoughts they wanted to share with the panel. No one? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, especially we would like to appreciate and thanks the main person, especially like Thomas and the other people from the British England, that they coordinate us and enhance the skills of the youth by providing the courses through online. So even though they have given us a priority that if they need more extra classes, so they already have done it so far for us, like Hafsa. He provided us an extra class once we need it. So this is a great thing that so far we have learned many meaningful things from them. So really appreciate it behalf from me and my team.
Thanks so much, Ahmed. That's really great to hear. And I think Alberto, who is also one of our community trainers, has got the mic now. Alberto, over to you.
Thank you. I have a question for maybe all of you, but perhaps it's more for Therese, I guess. How is the status, the landscape of film production in Hong Kong when it comes to ethnic minorities? What kind of roles, what kind of stories, how are they portrayed, etc.? Thank you.
Who would like to start with that? Maybe.
Okay, that could be a big academic question where we could have a conference, just to talk about your question. But I would say, I welcome, all the other speaker. Maybe they could also share their own viewpoint. But I mean, in the last, one of the reasons why we start All About Us is we see from the mass media in Hong Kong that's a lot of prejudice about the ethnic minority community in Hong Kong, and there's a certain kind of stereotype. Talking about film or TV production, basically you will basically see the kind of role that especially let's say the South Asian people in the film or in the TV production, normally they are being portrayed as a gangster or security guard or whatever. Basically, it's negative, portrayal. That's kind of inspire us. We hope that, as I just mentioned, Hong Kong, it's a modern city that we're all talking about. We should uphold the idea of diversity, the mutual understanding and mutual respect. So that's why we hope through these kind of program that could have, we hope to give all the ethnic minority people in Hong Kong a voice, a chance to express themselves, to tell their own story. And also, on the other side, we also hope maybe some of them, they could get into the film industry in Hong Kong, where that is dominant by the Hong Kong Chinese. We hope maybe some of them could be the filmmaker, the actor, and so forth. Yeah. But I have to say, at the very beginning, it's really, really difficult. Yeah. Then we kind of take it easy. Yeah. Now it's 13 years later. I didn't say we really did a lot in the area, but we are very happy to see that it seems more and more, especially younger filmmakers or younger artists from Hong Kong, they would also like to pay attention to the story of the ethnic minority community in Hong Kong. And they, some of them, they work with us through this project. They know some young teenagers, and they invite them to participate in their own filmmaking. So that's why in recent few years, we will see Hong Kong younger filmmaker. They also interested to tell the story of the ethnic minority community in Hong Kong. Maybe like this year, there's one of the nominees from Hong Kong got into the Golden Horse Award. It's got many nominations. It's called 白日青春. It's also about the story of refugees people in Hong Kong. Yeah, and I think all about us also commissioned a Hong Kong younger filmmaker to make a short film about the Pakistan young people in Hong Kong, and got into one of the nominations from the Golden Horse Award 2 years ago, right? At the best short film. So I mean, I think these are the good thing that we could see, and so that's why we can't afford, if we want to make a change to the society, definitely it's rely on collaboration. It's collaborative effort. Yeah. So so I mean, again, very happy to know through Timothy, we know about this project, and it seems that more and more NGO or more and more partners in Hong Kong that's kind of aware the importance of being different voices coexist
Exactly.
in Hong Kong. Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, I think after this session, we'll have a short presentation on evaluating some of the kind of impact of the program. But afterwards, we're going to have a session just to come and have a drink. So please do all mix and mingle, and we'd love to continue the conversation with some of you about the future. I think we've got a question here on the floor, but I think actually online we had a virtual hand up in the room earlier from Steve. Steve, are you still there? And can you turn your mic and camera on and join us? Steve was one of our trainers on the Restart program.
Oh, hi, Tim. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. That's great.
Oh, great. Well, hello, everyone. First of all, I just want to congratulate all the filmmakers and the groups for the amazing work that we saw earlier. Really wonderful to see your work. My question was really, what next, both in terms of for the groups? Do you want to make any more films? Has this inspired you, and are there plans for more filmmaking? And then also for the films themselves, will they get seen more widely? Are there opportunities to see the films in full? That was my question. And amazing work. Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, big congratulations to all of the participants. And so I think to start with the last part of your question, Steve, I think the films are going to be premiered in full on the British Council YouTube channel. So British Council Hong Kong YouTube channel, I should say. And so from the 1st of November, they will all be up there in full. So the highlight reel we saw earlier gives a flavour, but you'll be able to see all of the short films in full. And I think total back to back, they're over an hour, which is why we didn't show them earlier. But you'll be able to see them on YouTube from the 1st of November. And beyond that as well, I think we are really keen at the British Council to really seek opportunities to roll out the Restart programme once again. This programme was very much a pilot. It's the first time we've done something like this. So we will be very much, looking through all of the evaluation that we're doing on the program, and really keen to take the successful parts, the essence of what made Restart positive and successful, and hopefully develop something again in the future. So we really want to be having conversations, maybe with some of the people in the room tonight, about how we can do that. And also in the immediate future for our young filmmakers as well, we're providing some what we're calling kind of seed funds for some of our groups of filmmakers to take that on and pitch hopefully some ideas to us about how they would like to take the work that they've done already and extend that forward into the future. So we're really excited also about hearing about that from some of our young participants. So I think if we have one final question here before there's three final. I'm already over time. I'm going to get in trouble. But let's carry on with one more question for now.
My name is Davy. I work at the Equal Opportunities Commissions, and I feel really delighted to know, like, even Hong Kong Youth Arts have program for 13 years, but this is the first time I've heard about this, that you have this program for 13 years. So my question is for all of you that in the sphere, how do you going to mainstream this? And I would like to know, how is the receptions of the mainstream community? Because I think if you have a movie but people doesn't see it, because it's really potential. Movie is lots of emotions. You can invoke a lot of emotions. People can learn a lot of things. Bridging the mutual understanding. If you combine the ethnic Chinese and non-ethnic Chinese, then actually they can work together and learn a lot of things that you mentioned. So yeah, how are you going to put it forward? We're just really interested, considering the huge potential that movie can bring.
Alyssa, would you look like you've picked up your mic with intent there?
Yeah, I have, because I mean that is the question, and these programs need funding, and so thank you to the lovely organization that stepped forward and funded it. So let's get out there and grassroots fund. Let's find the funding, and I think that's what the mixer is for. So come on over and talk about how we can find funding for these films. Can we get the 2 more questions in now?
How are we doing for time, Ali? One more question. Okay, one final question.
Just a quick answer to what this this lady says. I would say we have to keep going. So that's why I hope the Restart project is not just stick to the trial, could carry out, because the impact does not just appear within one night. It has to be I mean, how can I say, recurring, and also that also require a lot of collaboration. Yeah.
I think
that's who and resources. Yeah.
Exactly. So let's continue and definitely stay in touch and continue talking. Thank you, Teresa.
My name is Vijay, and I'm from the NGO called Ultimate United, and we also serve here in Jordan Yau Chumong district. And our students were also very lucky that they can join, and Alberto was our teacher, and it was a really great experience. So thanks for the opportunity. And like, my question was similar to Devi, like she already asked. But here's a suggestion as well, that like Coca-Cola. I have been to places where you cannot find water, but you can find Coca-Cola. So this is the product plus marketing. So you are here for 13 years. Great initiative. But the point is, Devi did not hear about it. I'm also here for 11 years. I also never heard about it. I think more than a funding, it needs a strategy, because funding follows the strategy. Another thing is, like, this is the program for 12 to 20 years, or even let's say 24 years. But this is the age group, especially 12 plus, they have extreme pressure for school homework. And then for them to engage, it's like what Mr. Ahmed says, give them a time to adapt. But actually, it's a very crucial age. They have a homework pressure, then video game, and then body changes, many things. So how can we make it attractive? As Timothy says, that now everybody has the access to camera and everybody is a content creator. But I like what you said, that this is not just about making films, but it's a empathetic and inclusive way of expressing yourself. So my simple question is how to make it more relatable, more practical, and more approachable. Because the point is, those who want to be supposed to be benefited, they have no idea about it. So my suggestion is, if there can be a collaboration along with the schools, and in the summer holidays, they can come up with some project. And that's the way, because our audience or our purpose is the young generation to access to this opportunity. So if we can access to schools, it does not require lots of funding, but I think a lot of planning for sure. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vijay. I think there's a lot in there, and I would really love to pick your brains a bit more on that, because I think a lot of the points you made there are really, really important. And I think, you know, we did find with this pilot program that there were huge challenges kind of exacerbated by the pandemic in terms of the demands on our participants' time, you know, not just our participants, but our trainers as well. So that's a really important challenge. And I think in future, we really have to kind of thread the eye of the needle to make sure we're doing this and planning this in ways that are accessible in terms of time and resource for our young participants and our trainers as well. Because, you know, some of the amazing community trainers who are working with us, they have huge demands on their time and resource as well. So we're really grateful that the people that have partnered with us this time have given us a kind of foundation to build this program, and we really want to continue the conversation and hopefully improve and build something that's even better in the future. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. I think I'm going to have to draw this to a close now. I think we could carry on talking for quite a bit more time, but yeah, I'm going to get in big trouble if we don't stop. So in a moment, we will be joined by our evaluation partner for Restart, Jasmina, and she's going to do a quick presentation exploring some of the initial kind of findings we found. We've been recording the impact of the Restart program. It's really important we do this for the future to learn what went well, what didn't go so well. And Jasmina, who's just joined us, is going to take us through some of the initial findings. Over to you, Jasmina.
Thank you, Timothy, and for actually inviting me to this from the evaluation point of view, very important and resourceful event. I will just give heads up. I'm calling from Kuala Lumpur, where we are going through a very heavy tropical monsoon rain. So if due to weather conditions, my line breaks a bit, I apologize in advance, but I hope there will be no issues on that technical slide. Ellie, can you please switch to the next slide? So, so I will just briefly go through some of the findings, and these are the midterm findings of the evaluation that we did with youth participants as well as community trainers. I'm not going to go through what the overall goal is because this is something you already heard, but I just want to focus your attention on two questions that we wanted to answer. And these are: how beneficial and useful was the exposure of young marginalized people in Hong Kong to filmmaking workshops as well as development of community arts projects, and to what extent young marginalized people develop their creative potential and core transversal skills and competencies. Next slide, please. So my main source of information were actually preliminary findings from monthly reports starting from February till June 2002. And these monthly reports were submitted by community trainers. And then also consultation with community trainers, and very important piece of information came from midterm survey with community youth members. The final evaluation will be completed in a month from now, so these are still preliminary findings. Next slide, please. So, from trainers' perspective and point of view, and keep in mind the trainers were the one who were actually teaching, observing, facilitating, and coaching young people from the very beginning, from the first workshop till the final product, which is their short movie. In their opinion, benefits from attending the filmmaking workshops for young people were, first of all, confidence level. And this is something that we already heard from youth representatives during the first sharing session. Their level of confidence increased. They were, had more confidence to present themselves and their ideas in a very protected environment where their ethnic minorities background wasn't an issue, their gender wasn't the issue, their economic status was not the issue. So confidence to use filmmaking to voice their opinion or to advocate for issues that they are important to them is something that was noted, that increased. The second benefit was the creativity level, increased creativity level. The whole, workshop environment, even though conducted mostly in online modality, enabled young participants to deep dive into their own personal experience, to create some very, very remarkable storylines, which I am sure you will agree with me once you see all movies. And the third one is the increased level of communication. So they were actually, due to increased confidence level as well as their creativity level, were able to communicate their ideas, their thoughts, to defend their approaches, and to practice a whole set of various communication skills. When it comes to benefits that came from development of the community arts projects, the knowledge that they received during the workshops about the filmmaking was the one that they were able to apply during the development of community arts projects. And the whole management of the filmmaking process was also a very valuable experience for them, because they were at the same time more or less their own screenplay writers, actors, directors, and producers. So, they played various roles in this process, which definitely increased and complemented to their confidence, creativity, and communication skills as well. And last but not least is their ability and increased ability to work as team members with not just the young people from different backgrounds, but also girls and boys worked together, which is something that in minority communities doesn't happen so often. So just before we move to the next slide, I would like to point out that the skills, knowledge, and actually experience that they didn't fully gain during the workshops, they actually did during the community arts projects, which means that both workshops and community arts projects were complementing to development of their various skills and competencies. Next slide. But from the youth perspective, you will see the overlapping. So youth, a total of 42% of youth members reported that the highest contribution to development of their skills and competencies were workshops that focused on innovative thinking, communication skills, and problem solving. And then next slide, please. When it comes to the contribution of community arts projects in youth members' opinion, the highest contribution came from creative thinking, followed by teamwork. So 68% of respondents indicated that creative thinking, and 58% of them that teamwork are the biggest benefits. followed by a total of 55% of respondents that think that the medium contribution was achieved in their better understanding of communities and their needs after attending workshops and community arts projects. Next slide, please. However, as we are all aware, any program faces various types of challenges. In the case of the Restart program, those challenges faced by and identified by youth members are lack of face-to-face classes. So they actually lack that interaction, sharing ideas, and discussion that goes beyond online sphere. The second one was lack of available time towards the end of the program implementation, because they were back in schools, luckily and fortunately. However, their presence in schools, the homeworks, and also much appreciated time outdoors was one of the challenges when it comes to their attendance and proactivity at the Restart program. And the last two challenges are lack of contact with local communities, because due to COVID restrictions, they were actually not able to be as present in various local communities as they wished, as well as additional time and knowledge that are needed for filmmaking. So even though they attended workshops and created the community arts project, in some aspects of filmmaking, such as editing, post-production, and other technical things that are related to making films and videos, they simply needed more time and knowledge and coaching and guidance, which is normal. I mean, as someone said just now, changes and the knowledge is not gained overnight, and changes do not happen overnight. So for the pilot program, as I am sure you will all agree, the results achieved by now, or at least by the moment I was conducting this midterm evaluation, shows that this project really reached to the audience and achieved good results so far. So the last slide actually indicates something that I already mentioned, and that is that the final evaluation will be out towards the end of November. And I truly hope that, as any other evaluation, this one will contribute to improving some segments of the work for the follow-up, which I truly hope will happen. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Jasmina, and I'm glad that the monsoon didn't actually interrupt us at all.
Okay,
so
good.
We heard you loud and clear all the way throughout, so thanks very much. I should also just say, I see rather quickly over before that presentation, just ask everyone to give a short round of applause for all of our panelists earlier. Teresa, Lisa, Sukhmani, and Gary and Tara. Big thank you to them in the UK for getting up early and joining us as well from overseas. So now I would just like to invite Susie back up just to round things off, really, and then afterwards we can have a bite to eat and have some things to drink. So over to you, Susie.
Thanks very much, Tim. Well, first of all, thank you so much to everybody for coming today, especially to our young filmmakers, who I think really did help to bring the program alive and really brought home why we have put so much time and effort into this, and why Porticus supports these sorts of initiatives, because they are so important to the future of this city and for their future success. I think for me, there were so many things that came out of it, but there were a number of themes that were recurring, that our young filmmakers kept on mentioning, and the big word for me was fun. And I think what this program has illustrated is, there are some really serious sort of underlying intentions to this program, but actually, fundamentally, we want all of the participants to have fun, because if young people have fun, they learn and they grow, and that's what we want to happen. I think the other thing that's come out of this today for me is that we have a lot of like-minded people in the room who have very similar ideas and intentions, and we really do need to join forces and have a conversation about how we can work more effectively together. And I will be very happy to broker that meeting and get us all around a table so we can have a serious conversation about the future, so that we can support more young people to reach their full potential, because that's essentially what we all want to happen. So I think we've all heard there's been a lot of conversation today, and I think perhaps a lot of you are anxious to continue some of these really interesting conversations over a drink or a cup of tea, and to have a bite to eat. So please join us, stay on, let's continue the conversation. And thank you very much to all of you for coming today, and thank you very much to my colleagues for putting on this event this afternoon. Thank you.